I hear someone in the chat says I need to triple check the mic. Nah, I'm only gonna double check. It's working. Alright. Should have the code up on screen, and I can tell we have the code up on screen because OBS is open over there. Alrighty. Second dev stream. Now I will warn you guys. My body did not handle the change from daylight savings to standard time very well. I'm a little tired. I realize it happened on Saturday night, but still it takes me like a day or two to adapt. And inclement weather outside, I have a very slight but manageable storm headache. Will it be manageable by the end of the stream? Probably not, but that's weather permitting. But I'm feeling energetic enough to do it, so we're doing it. I want to show you guys a bunch of neat stuff I've been working on. You guys have seen a lot of it in the Discord and in merge requests, but for those of you guys who haven't been paying attention to the hashtag socially distant chat in Discord, I want you guys to see, oh my god, I'm stuttering. I want you guys to see it. Fuck, I can't fucking speak today. I want you guys to see it too. There we fucking go. I don't know why that sentence was so hard for me to get through. Anyway. Health always comes first. Yeah, except I don't have anything to do with the fucking storm headache anyway. I'm all out of medicine. I have to get some. So we're gonna fight through it anyway. I don't care. I've done it before. I've went through 14 years of school fighting through these headaches. I can do it. I'm fine. Oh, did you really say that? The courier in the chat that I can't program with a headache? I'm gonna prove you wrong. I'm gonna prove you wrong and do it live. I can do it. Hit. What the fuck did I just do to the stream? There we go. Fixed. I have my mouse cursor over OBS and I dragged it. Oops. Anyway, how y'all doing? I'm doing quite alright, other than the headache. Awkward silence while we wait for the game to build. There it goes. Alright, so one of the things you will notice immediately is things are a little bit brighter in the game. I implemented Bloom over the weekend. I implemented post-processing. For those of you guys who are not in the know, huge thank you to Vaxry from the Hyperland Project. I know he can be a little controversial at times. And, you know, there are people out there who don't exactly like him as a person or his community. But you gotta admit, the dude can write fucking haters much better than I can. The background blur shader has been completely redone. It's based on the one from Hyperland, which is a dual Kawasi, I think is how you pronounce it. A dual Kawasi blur, which really just means that it's a Kawasi blur with an up pass and a down pass. But still, it's a lot faster, even on my system, than the Gaussian blur that I had in the game that I wrote. And it is much more performant. I just said that. Faster and performant mean the same thing. I meant to say it is much more beautiful than the Gaussian blur shader. I was noticing some artifacting when I optimized it, and it was not doing great. I was able to get a frame rate boost, but it just did not look good. But now, you can see there is some bloom going on. It's not tuned well. I need to work on the settings for it, but look around the settings icon. That kind of bluish cyan kind of glow. That's the bloom shader. Using Vaxry's Quasi Blur to do the actual bloom. You can also see it. Whoa. You can also see it around the clock here, where it's 12 o'clock a.m. That's nice and glowy. Monday, not so much. And that's a good thing. I want these big, bright text elements to glow, but I don't want regular text to glow, because glowing text can, in some cases, be hard to read. But for something like this bigger font, it's more legible that way. It's more legible when it's a bigger font and a subtle glow around it than it would be at, say, this font size here with a glow. So it's good that it doesn't blur everything. But if I go into settings, you're going to notice the darkening overlay is a lot darker than it used to be. That's one thing you'll notice. And you really can't make things out in the background. I mean, here, I can see generally where the dock is, but you can't make out the icon. Like, maybe here you can see that it's the crafting icon. Maybe, if you're familiar with the game. And that's good. That's much better than the other blur shader. Because, you know, it's a blur shader. It's supposed to make things blurry and hard to read and hard to see, right? So, around, there are some issues. Unity 7. It's funny you say Unity 7, Dag, because this is actually performing better than Unity's bloom shader. It's almost like using a bloom shader that's optimized for a hacking game is going to be better than using a bloom shader that's general purpose and optimized for HDR. Anyway, there are some readability problems with bloom turned on that I know of. Like right here, the tab really cannot read that without zooming in a lot. There are ways to fix that. I don't like how intense the blue is in the settings icon. That could be toned down. This... Okay, this isn't bloom, but I found that hard to read in context of the bloom. The section above the category. So that's something I'll have to deal with. But you can see it's affecting things like this text, but you can still read that it says resolution, which is good. And it's not affecting the drop-down content, but it is affecting the on state of the toggle. But when you turn it off, I just turned off full screen, oops. When you turn off the toggle, only the white circle that is like you pull it to toggle, I guess, is glowing. So that's cool. We could actually... I'm sure if I went into the visual style and made that white circle darken when the toggle is turned off, that might be a neat effect. Maybe. Because if it's below the... If it's not super bright, then it won't get bloom. Which would be a nice way to distinguish the off from the on. Scroll bars are completely redone and animated in this build. Compared to what they were the last time. If you remember in the last stream, they were broken for one. And they were just solid gray on solid white. That's been fixed. Or rather, they've been themed. You can see they kind of, I need to adjust the colors, but it's got this kind of track that renders in kind of like liquid data, that when you scroll or when you hover, that's something that's new. And then it goes away after a few seconds. There's going to be an accessibility feature so you can keep it on, but, yeah. When you hover over the scroll bar, it does actually go blue to indicate that you're hovering over it. And as far as scroll views in general in this build, you can now click to scroll along the scroll bar. So that's good. You'll be able to drag it, but not now. Not yet. But you can drag to scroll on the actual scroll view now, which is buttery smooth. I have VSync turned off, so of course it's going to be hundreds of frames per second. VSync on, it's still very smooth. YouTube might not translate that very well because of how I'm streaming this, but I can tell you in person, it's buttery smooth now. Okay, Dag, I did not realize you meant Unity, the desktop environment, but my Bloom Hater is still better than Unity 7's Bloom Hater, because Unity 7 doesn't have a fucking Bloom Hater, so I still win. There we go. Problem solved. Anyway. Anyway. Debug overlays have been completely redone. Now, I will warn you, opening a debug overlay in Socially Distant is quite intensive on the frame rate. I wonder why. But you hit F3, you'll get a window. It'll usually start in the top left corner, but the way I have it programmed, it'll save where you drag it off to. But you can see I'm getting solid 60 frames per... Obviously nothing's happening on screen, but solid 60. If I turn vertical sync off, it'll go up to, like... Okay. While I'm streaming, it is a little bit struggling. I'm sure if I were not streaming, it would be a higher frame rate, but I don't have, like, the AV1 encoding set up or anything. So, software encoding plus video game. CPU's kind of struggling right now. That's fine. Alright, but if I turn bloom off, you can see things start to get less bloomed, obviously. So things are more readable. And we don't have any of the blue glow. But now we're staying constantly above 100 FPS. Like, actually close to 200, which is neat. And then you turn background blurs off. And we are at almost... Well, we're going between, like, 500 and 200. It's... Yeah, the FPS counter does update very quickly. Anyway. For the sake of cool factor, I'm gonna turn all the effects back on. Because I don't care that the frame rate is kind of low while I'm recording. It's fine. It's still above 60 at 4K. We're gonna be fine. Anyway, you hit F4, you get a different debug overlay. This is the post-process debugger. Yes, this game has a fucking post-processing end now. For a hacking game. Deal with it. But this lets you do things like adjust the bloom. Which is the only thing it lets you do right now. But, for example, I can go in and decrease the brightness threshold, which is how bright something has to be in order for it to get bloomed. And as I drag it down into towards 0, well, everything gets bloomed now. And it's a little hard to see in system settings, but You know, all the text is bloomed. And that is really bloomed. All this is bloomed. That's bloomed. All that's bloomed. Everything's bloomed. I'm turning VSync back on. That's all bloomed. But if you quit out of system settings, you can see the mountain in the background is a lot brighter now. So, the way that works is, I've implemented this such that you cannot actually decrease readability of most UI elements, except for areas where I've fucked up the UI design, like the tabs. But if I do a neofet, you can see it's perfectly readable despite everything on the screen being affected by bloom. So that's cool. But you can also crank the intensity. Like if I go up to, I don't know, 50. It does that. If you go to something like 100, you can't see a damn thing. So intensity controls how bright things get. Brightness threshold controls how bright things have to be in order to get affected by bloom. But default is 1, so yeah. So put that back to 1, and then default for this slider is about 0.8. So I'll try to get it to that level. There we go, 0.8. And that's what that looks like by default. A problem with bloom applying to brighter objects above 1 is it is physically impossible to render something above 1. That's not how the UI system works. It does not render to an HDR texture. It never will render to an HDR texture, so if I were to make a text element white, then it's gonna have a brightness of 1. Because that's white. That's just how it works. I'm sure I could adapt it to do HDR and tone mapping and shit like that, but why? There's no point. Anyway, next up, we can actually control the blur. So if I want to make a really intense spread out blur, I can do that. There's a bit of a bug when you're in an IM GUI layer and you're above a clickable element like the terminal. It kind of, you can see what it's doing in the background, but you can see that has kind of a, I don't really like it with an intense blur, because it goes from being a subtle bloom to more of glasses smudgy, and I actually have to take my glasses off to tell if that's the bloom or not. My glasses actually being filthy. It's the bloom. So don't set the blurriness to 8. Also, or don't set the blurriness to 16. It looks bad. Also, the number of passes increases from 1 to 8 when you do that, so it's going to be a lot more expensive. I think it's good around, I don't know, 1.2, 1.3-ish. Text can have bloom. There are cases where you want bloom. You don't want it on, like, regular readable text like this. But on a bright cyan header, you do want bloom, because that gives you your cyberpunk kind of look. So that's good. But anyway, brightness, contrast, that is all to do with blur. Those really don't have too big of an effect on bloom. They're there because the shader has those parameters. Alright, so We can fuck with Bloom later. I might need some help from you guys to tune it and to make it look good. We're gonna work on it on the stream, because there are some issues with it that need to be fixed. But anyway, Bloom works. Now, next feature. If you hit F9, you get the widget debugger, which has been completely rewritten. So, you get a widget tree, so I can go in, and maybe there's some issue in the UI that I can't quite figure out. Or I want to experiment with something. Like, maybe I want to experiment with what the game would look like with the status bar at the bottom of the screen instead of at the top. Well, you can see right here we have a flex panel, and right below it is the status bar. You collapse the status bar, and then you have another overlay, and then inside there is the desktop. So clearly, this flex panel is the very top level root of the UI. If you click on it, somewhere on the screen, there will be a widget debugger. It's down here. Okay. So with the widget debugger open, I can go and I can click on this reversed toggle in the flex panel. And as you can see, automatically, the status bar is now at the bottom of the screen. It's right there. So I can go in and make those subtle UI changes and test things out with the widget debugger. That's really cool. It's not just, you know, fucking with the UI that I can do. Maybe there's a performance issue and we're not sure where it is. Well, Gordinator in the chat would be familiar with that because I was helping him figure out why the game runs so shitty on integrated graphics. And I thought, well, let's see what the game does when there's no UI rendering and see if it's the UI system or something else that's intensive. Well, I can prevent the UI from rendering at all. I can click on the flex panel, make sure it's selected, and I happen to know that if I go here, down to where the widget properties are, there should be a visibility right here. We go ahead and set that to collapsed. The desktop is now gone. So, you know, if I turn the desktop off and the frame rate jumps up, then I know there's something up with the UI system, and there's probably some widget somewhere that's constantly repainting, which might be a bug. So you can see where that would be helpful. But that's not all. Some UI elements have shaders attached to them. Otherwise, how the fuck would you background blur a terminal? So, if I go into the overlay widget and look for, you know, okay, I don't want to be in the dock. I want to be in this floating workspace because inside there is a tabbed window, then a window decoration, and then there's a flex panel, then a window drag surface, and then a window client area, and inside there is a terminal widget. And there should theoretically be a shader attached to the terminal. Yeah, so there's background blur shader. And you can see we have all the same settings as in the Bloom post process. So if I want to make terminal not blurry anymore, there you go. It's not blurry anymore. If I want to murder your graphics card with the blur, well, now I can murder the graphics card with the blur. And I can go in and tweak these settings on an individual basis for each widget to get the artistic look that I'm going for. I'm going to turn that back down to 3, which is the default. Well, somewhere about 3. frustrating, the chat. Anyway, so another thing I can do is I can do things like up the vibrancy of the blur. Not quite sure what that does yet. Vax3 hasn't really explained it to me. The defaults are based on Hyperland. But I can, like, make the darkness affect the vibrancy. I guess that does something. I really can't tell. But anyway, all of these tools are really helpful for debugging and testing things out, and, you know, it's handy. So, that's all the neat stuff that's been added in this build of Socially Distant. This is all in a merge request 11. Neon Lights and Argon Knights, if you want to find it on GitLab. It's the only one open. So, let's fuck with the code. One thing I want to do, for debugging reasons, is I want to implement a way to stop the bloom shader from merging its result with the screen. That way I can go in and actually see what elements are being bloomed and what's not being bloomed. So, let's see how we would do that. So, we're going to go bloom effect and bring that up. First order of business is we are going to fucking move all of these types into their own files. I did not do that last night. There we go. And now we have bloom effect open. Also, I was not aware Compiz had a bloom shader. Does Compiz really have a bloom shader now? Is Compiz still being maintained? I'm surprised by that one. Anyway. I'm not quite sure what that means. But the only reason I mentioned Vax3 specifically is he helped me do the port. So, I'm gonna give credit where it's due. Anyway. But I wouldn't say that default settings are based on Hyperlens defaults would be an endorsement of Hyperland. It's just a factual statement. Like, if you go up to the documentation of Hyperland for the blur effect, it's going to have the exact same parameters set to the exact same values as are on my screen right now. That's just the way it is. Anyway. First order of business is there's actually a bug here. There's bug in multiple places, actually. We go background blur widget effect .do blur. One problem that I know is I'm fucking stupid, and I'm setting blur parameters after applying the shader. Don't do that. That's not how shaders work in monogame. So, what we're gonna do is we're gonna move all these. Actually, there's an easier way to do this. We're gonna move this down here. And now the shader effects, or shader properties are being applied before the shader gets applied to the APU, so there we go. I really think that monogame should rename the .apply method to something else, because it, in my mind, when I see apply, it's like taking something that I've already rendered and applying shader to it. Whereas what it's actually doing is it's telling the APU to use this shader in the next draw call. That's what it does. It's not applying to anything, it's just activating the shader. So maybe something like activate or use or something like that, but anyway. I don't think Vax3's gonna care too much that I'm crediting him. I don't think he would mind. Alright, so we're gonna move this so that those parameters get applied, and then this so that they get applied, and that should lead to things working a little bit better. Alright. So now what I want to do is I want to implement some debug toggles. Skip screen merge. What that's going to do is if it's enabled, it's going to skip the final step of Bloom, which is just to merge the result with the screen. So if not skip screen merge, then we call the draw additive to screen method here. So now if I go down here, I should be able to come down here and create a new section. Debugging. Not collapsible, so you get the horizontal line thing. And then skip screen merge equals section.toggle. Don't merge with screen. And then we give it the current value of skip screen merge. So let's see what that does. I don't think it should take a list of shaders to apply, because you can only apply one at a time. But I don't think the method should be called apply. Alright. So, not F9, it's F4. If I go into... Where the fuck did that menu... Oh, it's up here. Okay. If I toggle this, you can see most of the screen is black. Right? So I can go in and fuck with the sliders. And watch as more of the game comes into view. Pretty cool. Now I'm realizing there might actually be a problem with how dark this is. So what we're also going to do is allow me to skip the blur part of this. Skip blur. And skipping blur would be done here. So let's wrap this for loop in, or in the if statement heck if skip blur is false. So alright, now we can add that as a toggle. Alright. Not F3, it's F4. Okay. So we now have another toggle I can fuck with. Which would be... Where's my mouse? Okay, I ran into a K-Win bug there. My mouse disappeared. That was annoying. So I can skip the blur. I can skip the screen merging. And now you can see a view into... Well, this is just what gets bloomed, basically. So you can see you can kind of see where the mountains are in the background. You can see things like this text here, 12 o'clock a.m. That gets fully bloomed. These icons are legible. The text up here, you can kind of make out that it says user at localhost. You can see the profile icon in the corner. You can see all these icons are mostly legible. And then you can see the border around the window is legible, but the only thing you can kind of see in the terminal is a little bit of this, and some lines, and some dots here and there, but then you run neofetch, and you can see kind of some of the colors. They're all blue tinted. But I'm not really a fan of. I don't know if that's gonna stick. There's a reason everything's blue. It's an intentional feature. But I'm not sure I'm keen on it just yet. Alright, I think what I might do is part of the blur technique is some color filtering that happens before the blur starts. I'm thinking we're gonna make it so that the color correction happens before the bloom thresholding. That way, the blur vibrancy and stuff like that will have more of an effect on the overall bloom. So right here we have step 1, brightness threshold. That's going to be step 2. And then step 1 is going to be the blur prepare, which I'm going to rename to color filtering. And all we gotta do is move that big block of code, up to the top. And there we go. Okay, so it looks like there is more bloom going on overall. Let's skip the blur. I skip screen. What the fuck? That is an annoying bug in KON. I love KON, but it's weird with how it handles the mouse when zoomed in. Alright, so, yeah. Seems like mostly the same areas are getting bloomed. Let's work on that color filter. Alright. Color filter's gonna take a bit. Because I need to implement a whole new feature into the UI inspector. It's painting color because I wanted to do it. My intention behind it is when your system is safe and stable, things will glow blue. But when it's having problems, they'll go red. But there's a better way to do that. I might remove the color filtering, but I want to kind of try some stuff first. So, I need eye inspector category. And what I need is color field. String label. Sorry, I blanked for a sec. And then color current. No, value. Oh my god, my shift key is messing with me. Why? My keyboard hates me. Alright, import type. I want the one from... Alright. I need to rant. I need to fucking rant. Alright? This is a public service announcement to all the C# programmers out there. And to all the programmers out there, I don't fucking care. Anyone using a strongly typed language. There are 3 different implementations of a color. Why? Because I have 3 different graphics libraries installed right now. I have Monogame, which is Microsoft.xna.framework.color. Monogame is not made by Microsoft, but Monogame is based on XNA in terms of API. So for historical reasons, that's the namespace. That's the one I want, because I'm using Monogame. Alright? Silk.net.stl.color? Why the fuck do I need that? Yes, I'm using Silk.net on the back end for SDL in my Monogame fork. So that I can do things like clipboard. Because Monogame's own SDL bindings do not support clipboard. I don't need a color type in there. I know SDL has a color type. But I don't need it. Okay. System.drawing.color. This is in here because the font renderer I use wants to be platform agnostic. By that I mean graphics platform. And so, instead of accepting silk.net.stl.color or microsoft.xna.framework.color, because those are bespoke graphics platforms, it takes in fucking system.drawing.color, which is built into .NET Framework. But for compatibility reasons, is included in .NET 8. System.drawing.color is part of ADI, which is Windows rendering. Now, to be clear, there is a re-implementation of ADI Plus for Linux, but still. Now, colors is fine. Alright, I can live with it, just click the right one, and I'm fine. Where I'm not fine is a fucking vector 4. Or a vector 2. There are several different implementations of a fucking 2D vector coming from all these different libraries. Alright? There's one from Monogame, which is fine because XNA had its own. And there is a historical reason for that. It should be replaced, but there is a historical reason for that, whatever. Alright? There is system.numerics, which is the one built into .NET. There is Vector 256, where's that coming from? Okay, I'm not touching that one. That's system runtime interop services. What do you have? We have a Vector 2D. That's coming from silk.net.native. Or no, .maths. I misread that. So Silk.net has its own. And then we have a generic vector 2D, also from silk.net.maths. Now this is such a big problem that vector 2 type converter is a thing that exists in Microsoft.xna.framework. You know what would be simple? Is if everybody just used the one built into .NET, system.numerics. Stop reinventing math constructs. Vectors in C# nowadays use SIMD. They're highly optimized, where possible. They're built into the runtime. They're built into the standard. Fucking use them. Rant over. Alright. Hasm, that's not the case. That's... Okay. Two things I need to address. One in the chat is I'm not on Wayland right now. I'm on X11. So Wayland's irrelevant here. As far as the mouse bug. And C# has a solution for dealing with things like a color type. You know what you can do in C# nowadays? It's really nice. We have a new feature in modern.NET called generic math. What that lets me do is I can create a static class or anything really, something. And I can do public static void generic add t number. So it's type parameter. And then if I define a type constraint and force t number to be a struct and to implement I number I number t number, then what I can do is I can take in t number left, t number right as parameters, and then I can return t number. And this used to not be a thing in .NET, but now it is. I can do return left plus right. The simple fact that this t number type is forced to implement I number of t number means you get addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. You get the ability to use, I think you can do math.round with it. Let's just try that. Okay, you can't do it within the math functions, so that's fine. But you get your basic arithmetic. Just because one of the requirements to fulfill this interface, I number of t number, which is built into the framework nowadays, is you need to implement the add operator, and the subtract operator, and the division operator, and the multiplication operator, and you need to, like, specify all these mathematical constants and stuff like that, and fulfill all of these different mathematical axioms so that you actually get the ability to do math on these types. Now, where am I going with this? If I can do that with a number, there's nothing stopping me from declaring an interface, I color t component type. Where t component type is forced to be a struct, and to implement I number of t component type, And then I can do T component type red get T component type green get T component type blue get and D component type alpha get, and I can create a struct based on that. Give it a float. And then it's going to force me to implement those properties as floats. And now I have a color structure that uses floating point numbers for its components. And then I can take it as a method parameter by doing public static T color okay, this is gonna take a little bit of Alright, I made a crucial mistake. Specifying that I want to float through type parameters is not the best way to do this. So for the sake of brevity, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that type parameter. But what I can do is kind of like iNumber forces you to do. I can do where T color colon or is required to be a struct, and then implement iColor T color. Now I can dictate that anything that wants to be considered a color must, at bare minimum, implement these 4 properties: red, green, blue, and alpha as floats. And then inside my custom color implementation, I can say this is an iColor of type color. And then automatically I have the ability to do public static T color do color thing, taking T color as a type parameter, T color A or left, T color right, and then where T color is a struct and implements iColor of T color. Now I have access, no matter what color type I get given, to red, green, blue, and alpha. This is a solved problem. There's no reason to reinvent a color type if it's built into the language. Or if we all agree on one single library to use for colors. Same for vectors, same for quaternions, same for matrices, same for any other kind of mathematical structure you might want. As long as it implements an interface that behaves in that kind of way, you can use it across libraries as long as you have access to the interface. And because of how type parameters work in C#, you don't get any of the annoyingness of, like, virtual tables and things like that. Anyway. Properly handling color spaces is a whole can of worms, but we don't need it. And, I mean, I don't know of any programmer, graphics programmer or otherwise, that deals with color in any other format other than RGBA or any ordering of it. I mean, BTRA is sadistic, but anyway. RGBA or 8SV or 8SL. I feel like it's the graphics card's job to deal with converting things between RGBA and YCB, whatever the fuck that is. I can't even fucking memorize it. Anyway. If you do need to do conversion between those kinds of color spaces, then... well, yeah, there's no way around it. If you need to go between RGB and HSL, you still have to do that. But you can do that in a shader. Anyway, that tangent aside, I'm going to implement my color field. Alright, so, if the category is not expanded, then we just return the current value. And we'll leave it unchanged, but otherwise we can do begin field with the label, and end field. And I need to find a way to do colors in IMGUI. Okay, we have a color field. No, we have a color button. And a color edit 4. What does color edit 4 take? Okay, it takes in a label, takes in a vec4, alright, I'm gonna have to do the conversion to vec4, that's fine. Monogame has a built-in method to do it. Alright, and then I can do IMGUI, if IMGUI, color edit 4, we do a double hash to hide the label. Weird IMGUIism. Ref vec4. That's giving me a matte error, why? Why is that giving me an argument matte error? Cannot resolve method color edit 4 string ref microsoft.xna.framework.vector4 candidates. Ah, fuck, I hate dealing with JetBrains feature request for accessibility reasons. Please allow me, like, to click on this and have it stay open. I know it's a weird feature to ask for, but it would help me out immensely. Oh, I can highlight it. I didn't know that. Alright. See, this is why! This is why I ranted. This takes in a system numerics vector 4, which is not a monogame one. Thank fuck for the 2 numerics method. But I wasn't aware was a method. But there we go. Wait, did I implement that? No, that's built into monogame. I can tell, it's decompiling. To be fair, when I say RGB, I don't mean from 0 to 255. I just mean that you have a red channel, a green channel, and a blue channel, and an alpha channel. How precise they are is completely irrelevant. As long as I have a color type and it has these properties on it and these methods on it, and I can work with it as a color. That's all that matters. That's all that interface, determines. Alright, so, how am I going to get the system.numerics vec4 back into a color? There's no 2x in A. That's annoying. 2 mono game? Nope, there's... New vector 4. Vec4 dot x. Vec4 dot y. Vec4 dot c. Vec4 dot w. Dot 2 color. Nope, there is no dot 2 color. So you know what? New color. I think that'll be the right correspondence between channels. I think. Alright, and then we just return value. Alright, that should be a color editor. Now I'm going to extend this a little bit to support editing vector 4. What the fuck? Did I typo? I'm not gonna question that. Alright. Yeah. Part of the problem is that C# doesn't have a great type conversion system. One limitation with it is you can't define conversions between types that are both in third-party assemblies. Like, if I wanted to convert something between monogame and system.drawing, can't do it without having the source code of monogame or system.drawing. But if I want to convert something between monogame and my own library, as long as I have the source code to my own library, I can do that. Okay. So this should no longer be a color, it should be a new vec4. Alright, so now I can take in a vector 4 as a color and edit it as a color. So now what I can do is, inside the color method, I can go var new color equals color field label value.to vector 4, and then I can do return new color dot x, new color dot y, new color z, new color dot w, and boom. So now what I should be able to do is I should be able to go into bloom effect. Alright. Where was the category of color filtering? Right here. Alright. So what I can do is I can say emphasis color equals section color field bloom color emphasis color. And now why is it complaining? Why? What the f- Did it import the wrong vec4 type? Yeah, you should not be hiding private state in a struct. Don't do that. If it's a struct, everything should be public, and everything should be deterministic. What the fuck is... Oh my god, it's importing both system.numerics and fucking XNA framework, and it's confusing the shit out of things. This is annoying! It would be totally fine if we stopped reinventing math constructs. Okay, now there's a compile error in socially distant, likely for the same fucking reason. This is frustrating. Okay, this is read-only, that's why. That's an easy fix. There we go, it fucking compiles, holy shit. Alright, so now we should be able to go in here. I'm not a fan of the fact that it only lets me specify values between 255 and 0. What happens if I... Oh, there's a fucking tooltip? Will it do a color picker? No, it won't. Damn. That would have been cool. But now I should be able to skip screen merging so we can fuck around with it. And I can make it oh, why isn't it letting me edit it? Oh, it's a slider. Alright. That's a weird way to implement a color editor, I am GUI. It works. It's not how I do it, but it works. Oh, fuck. I massively dragged stuff around. Okay. So now you can see things are white. Things are white. That's good. Brightness. should have a nice effect on the bloom now. So I can bring up the brightness of the blurring. It's weird, things look almost black and white. They look grayscale. That's weird. What if I crank the vibrancy? Things should not be grayscale. Why is everything grayscale? Crank down the contrast, maybe? Oh my god, okay, that just blinds you. Alright. Okay, that's an interesting slider to mess with. You can really mess things up with the contrast slider. Alright. Okay, so adjusting the darkness value of vibrancy causes a lot of the color to come back. Alright. It's kind of fun to play around with this. Because I can bring more of the scene into the bloom threshold. And really fuck it up. So yeah, that's something cool I can do. I want to see what this looks like with the rest of the game in context. Okay, it looks pretty bad. I mean, the glow is smooth, and it's just not legible. But one thing I can do is I can turn down the green. And we should notice things start to get more red shifted. If I turn down the blue, then you can see there's a lot of red bloom. Because, like, the text is kind of yellow now, and that's an interesting effect. It just kind of, like, adds red to the scene. It makes everything red tinted. But it's very subtle. I'm not sure what vibrancy means. I really don't know. Because as I drag the slider from the left to the right, I don't notice the difference. Wow, this is this is what it's like to play socially distant on a virtual boy. Actually, I can emulate that effect perfectly. What you do is you crank the detection threshold down to 0. You crank the brightness all the way down. No, you don't. You keep it up. And see, if you turn the contrast all the way down, you get a solid red screen. Oh, shit, that's the wrong... I just introduced a whole bunch of noise into the blur. Okay. But that won't be effective because blur's disabled. Okay, you crank the contrast all the way up. Does it detect any of the text? Yes! We have fully legible but fully red text. Neofet isn't looking too great. But you turn down the contrast a little to get more depth. Or more color. Fuck. I don't know what's wrong with Neofet. His colors, it's just not detecting them. I'm just fucking around at this point. I don't know what to do. But yeah, if you ever want to play socially distant on a Nintendo Virtual Boy. I mean, things are fully legible. I mean, you can't see the fucking... You can't... I know what's wrong. It's completely filtering anything out that doesn't have a red panel. That's what's going on. So anything blue, gone. Anything green, gone. But anything that has a subtle red, it's there. Should I stop hurting everybody's eyes? I think I should stop hurting everybody's eyes. Mod settings. You know, it does kind of have a cyberpunk vibe. It really kind of does. You can kind of make things out. Oh. Oh. That was a bit jarring. That was very, very jarring. Alright, the game's back to normal. what I'd like to know... Okay, I turned bloom off. That's why things aren't bloomed. I need to take the game out of mod debug mode. Mod settings. Debug mode off. Oh, I love it with the bloom! I want the window color to be proper, but... Alright, exit the game. I do color the bloom at the end. That's what it's doing. The problem is... I can actually show you the shader code for it. The way this works is we have 2 pixel shaders inside of bloom threshold. Threshold is the one that detects what should be blooms, so we sample a color from the texture. We determine its brightness by getting the maximum channel. I don't think that's the correct way to do it, but that's what I thought of. And then we check if brightness is above brightness threshold, and then we just return color multiplied by brightness multiplied by intensity. And that's... Otherwise, we return nothing. Discard the color. Get rid of it. Then there's the cyberpunk shader. All this does is it samples the texture and multiplies it by an emphasis color. That's where the problem is, because if this emphasis color is set to cyan, there's not going to be a red panel, and thus the red panel is going to get discarded. When we were seeing it discard all of the blue and green objects that don't have red panels, keep in mind that we were just seeing what the bloom was going to add to the screen, so... Already, it's fine. It's gonna add red. Anyway, once my in-game save file goes to 6 a.m., we're gonna see what this looks like during the day, but... Ooh, this looks kinda nice. Having test mission glow like that. I mean, this UI is probably gonna get removed eventually, but checkbox is glowing, that's kinda nice. I wonder how chat bubbles look with the bloom. Ooh, not quite easy for me to tell which icon's which. I might have to tone that down. Problem is it's material icons. I don't like them in the game. We need a new icon pack. Or custom icons. Alright, let's see. Okay, so this outline isn't quite getting bloomed. In fact, I can verify. Where's the I am GUI? Oh, wrong overlay. Okay. Skip screen merging, so you can see, with that toggle on, chat is basically invisible. So what you're seeing here is what the game will ultimately add. So, if I wanted to make it a uniform glow with no color, now it's white. This is what bloom it's gonna add. That's an interesting thing you brought up in the chat, CRT effect. I don't know if I'm gonna add it to the game, because I'm not going for a 1980s vibe. I'm going for heavily riced Linux desktop, but at the same time it's something you actually might see in a Hollywood hacking movie. That's the vibe I'm going for. So, I might add stuff like chromatic aberration. Very subtle. Around, like, things that are glitching out. Like, if you get hacked, it might flash something up on screen, but then all the text will go all funky for a sec with the chromatic aberration. That's something I'm thinking of. I'm also thinking of redoing some of the actual UI design. Like, right here, this tab, it's really hard to read. So I think I'm going to do away with a lot of these solid color blue highlights and just stick to neon highlights. That is, highlighting the edge. I mean, the bloom kind of works well on things like the terminal's cursor. But once you start getting bright elements with bright text on it, it's bad. Okay, so I actually can't figure out one little problem. Okay, there's something bugged. That chat script should not be associated with this NPC. That's weird. There's something going on with the fucking chat system. Yeah, this should be case statements test. Please enter a number. 1. That didn't do anything. Weird! I don't know what's going on with the chat system. I'll have to look into that eventually, because that's a pretty fucking important gameplay mechanic that is fundamentally broken right now. Alright. Good to know. Okay. So enough fucking around with Bloom. This is obviously an eye candy screen, or stream. So... how the fuck do we do chromatic aberration? I understand it in principle. You basically take, for each pixel, you grab the red panel from a neighboring pixel in one direction, then you grab the green panel from another direction, then you grab the blue panel from another direction, and then you kind of combine them together, and that becomes the final color. But, like, intensity, distance, Are these things I need to implement? I don't know. I've never done chromatic aberration myself before. What do you say we attack that on stream? We'll figure it out together. Because having things kind of glitch out a little would be handy if you get attacked. You know. Alright, let's create a new hater. Where the fuck are the haters in this game? Alright. Chromatic aberration. I don't know if it's 2Bs or 1B. I don't fucking care either. Alright. We're gonna need to grab some stuff from Dual Kawasi. Mostly this shit. Because it's mono game, and it uses 8LSL for OpenTL for no godly good reason. The problem with finding something from the internet to rip off is I did that with a Gaussian blur hater, and we all know what happened. The Unity one looked bad. Alright, so we're gonna need the vertex hater output. We're gonna need position. Has to be position for the semantics. I don't like 8LSL. That'll be color 0, and then we need text for it. Alright, so that's the vertex hater output structure. I think distance is going to be a value we need. I'm blanking. Alright, let's focus on the vertex hater, because that's easy. BS out, BS. And I need to take in position. The color. And I need text chord. Fuck, it feels weird being blind and doing a fucking shader. But I can do it! Yeah, number one rule with me is I will never copy code. I will never copy-paste code. I will only look at code, try to understand it, and then copy it by hand. That is why teachers have you take notes, by the way, in class. Instead of just spoon-feeding the info to you. You write it down, and then you retain it more easily. That's why I'm writing a fucking 8LSL vertex hater from hand, instead of copying it. Because it's reinforcing my ability to write 8LSL. Which, for a hacking game where I want to do a lot of cyberpunk effects, kinda need to know a lot of 8LSL to do it. Alright. Speaking of which, I forgot something. I need a texture sampler for the screen. This is the one thing I do like about 8LSL is texture bindings are automatic, provided you can type correctly. This will automatically be bound to the 0if texture. So there we go. It's vertex shader. And now we do the actual chromatic aberration pixel shader. Make sure it returns color 0. There we go. Alright, so we'll come back to that. Next I need the technique definition. And then I need to define the pass. Alright, and inside the pass, I just need to define what vertex shader we're going to use. So that's going to be compile vs shader model vs. And then it's going to be pixel shader equals compile ts shader model chromatic aberration. And then just to get this to compile, I'm just going to do return text2d screen data.text coord. Just so we're returning something and it'll actually fucking compile. And I want to make sure I got this all right. Alright, the game booted. That's good. Now I can write the post-process code for it. How do we do that? Well, the very first thing we do is we create a new field class. By the way, no mods cannot implement post-process effects. I'm not exposing that. You can really fuck up the game by doing that, so no. Anyway, I'm going to create that chromatic aberration class, and I'm going to inherit or implement my post-process effect. And there are four methods we need to implement, and a property. Alright, so before we do that, we're going to go post-processor. Now, one thing I'm not sure about, should we do chromatic aberration before the bloom or after the bloom? I guess I'm gonna YOLO it and do it after the bloom. All effects on add new chromatic aberration. Alright. So let's fill out that isEnabled method. Or property. It's easy enough. Next, it's on settings changed. This allows me to enable and disable different effects based on your graphics settings. So I'm gonna hop over to the graphics settings and define the chromatic aberration settings so you can actually turn it off. Which is not too hard. Alright, so this is how we define the default value. We pass true, and then that boolean will be true by default. And then set value. I love socially distant setting system. I'm a bit biased because I wrote it, but I love it. So now that's property I can go ahead and change. Now I can expose it to the UI under the desktop effects section, which is right here by doing just below bloom with toggle, and the title is going to be chromatic aberration. Enable or disable subtle chromatic aberration during hacking encounters. So that's the description, and then the current value is the chromatic aberration property value. Callback is going to be X okay. Chromatic aberration equals X, there we go. So X is the value that the user picks. And then the section is going to be desktop. Oh, what did I call the section ID? It's just effects. Okay. Is there anything else I need to set? Requires confirmation? No, it doesn't require confirmation. That was what we implemented in the last stream. Confirmation dialogues. Actually, I don't think that was on stream. I think that was after. I can't remember. Okay, so that's good. The post-processing system is actually trying to load the effect and going, oh, this isn't implemented. Alright. Okay, what do we need to fill out next? Ah, yes, settings. Bar graphics settings equals new graphics settings. Settings. Oh no, it's settings manager. And then is enabled equals graphics settings chromatic aberration. So now we have the ability to turn it off. Alright, next thing we need to fill out is actually loading the effect. And that's easy. Effect equals game.content.load. Effect. And then the path will be /core /shaders /chromatic aberration without the file extension. And then it's loaded. And now we have to fill out the perform method. That's easy enough. Don't forget the null coalescing. There we go. And it should just be helper, not draw. Alright. Let's see if the screen actually shows. Why are we crashing? Why are we crashing? Could not find the specified file. What did I fuck up? Oh, I misspelled chromatic. Chromatic. Did I also misspell aberration? Does anyone know? I'll fix that. Alright! So, our quote-unquote chromatic aberration shader works. You know how I can tell? We are seeing the game. Right now, it's just a pass-through shader. Alright. So... how do we want to approach a chromatic aberration shader? Okay, well the first thing that I am gonna do is I'm gonna get that distance slider working. I'm feeling pretty nice that I typed out a fucking HLSL shader by hand. Alright, so getting the distance parameter working is not hard. And then in the load method, we do distance parameter equals effect null coalescing dot parameters distance name. And then before applying the shader, we do distance parameter dot set value distance. Distance is a variable I'm going to define that's going to default to 1. Alright. Then I can create a category inside of the inspector I'm really bothered. I don't know if I'm spelling this correct. It says I'm not. But then it also says this is incorrect. So how the fuck do you spell aberration? How do I... How do I spell it? It's bothering me. Will it... Does it support... Aberration? Okay. Well, son of a bitch. Ryder has a spell checker. Fuck. Can I fix that, like, all across? Okay, at least I know how to spell it. Now I have to go through and rename everything all properly. Oh well. Insert mode is coming in clutch. Overtype mode. Who the hell needs Vim when you just know how to use the insert key? That's not a knock on people who use Vim, by the way. If you use Vim and actually enjoy Vim, and it actually makes you faster, then awesome. It's not the case for me. Alright, and then rename the technique. And the pass. And the pixel hater binding. There we go. That should be all of it. Alright, so now we do... Since that's all fixed, I can do... Distance equals... Category dot number field. Because I don't know if it should be a slider yet. And there we go. Now I can fuck with the distance value. Next thing I know I'll need, because it involves texel offsetting, I'll need a texel size parameter. Right? Actually define the parameter in the code. And then finally we load it. And then we set it. And that'll be helper pixel size. So now I know how big the screen is, or how big a pixel is. Well, texel, but still. That's helpful. Okay. So, let's... I remember asking ChatGPT how it would do it. I'm gonna try its attempt, which is to sample red from the left, sample green from the right, and then blue from either the top or bottom. Of course you make all your stream recaps in NeoVim. Okay, here's why I don't find Vim bindings helpful. Let's say I'm typing. Alright, we're in a pixel header, so it's not gonna fuck with completions or anything, but I'm typing some code right now. Oh look, I've gone off screen. Alright? I haven't actually gone off screen because I have a second monitor, but for you guys, I've gone off screen. Not great. Which is why I need to have one hand on the mouse so that I can do this. And as I'm coding and hitting the edge of the screen, I can continually pan to the right, making sure the cursor stays on screen. And then when I know that I've gotten close to, like, hell over here on the other monitor, I know I have to start typing on another line. That's also why my coding standard, or my code style is set to auto-wrap a lot of things. So, for me, to cursor around like that, well, my hand's already on the mouse to scroll, so that wouldn't be faster for me, or more ergonomic. It just wouldn't be. And then, my my right hand, if I need to cursor around very quickly, well, I have two choices. If I'm typing and need to cursor around, then I can keep my left hand typing, because I'm mostly a one-handed typer now. And then I can cursor around using my right hand, or I can keep my right hand on the mouse and cursor around with the left hand, and it feels fine. Like, this is fine. Vim bindings would slow me down. Anyway, I'ma stop stalling. Let's try to actually fucking implement a chromatic aberration shader. Okay, so I want to do left, which I think is going to be float 2 minus pixel size dot x, and then it's going to be 0. And this right is going to be positive x. And I'll get green from the bottom. Actually, it doesn't matter. I want 0 here. Okay, what I might also do... Okay, so now my distance parameter is getting accounted for. Lowercase y in a shader, not uppercase y. There we go. Alright. So now... what I can do is I can get the red from the left. Okay, I got red from the left, green from the right, and blue from whatever the fuck below ends up being. Let's see how that works. Not seeing too much of a difference. Of course, I'm zoomed way the fuck out. Oh, I can see it. I can see it particularly in the I, in the word Richie, and in the T. I don't know if this looks good or bad. I don't use Idea Vim. What are you guys talking about? I don't use Idea Vim. My cursor looks like that because I have it set to block mode because it's easier to see. I don't use Idea Vim. I have in the past. Not anymore. Alright, let's turn Bloom off and see how it works. Okay, I can still see the chromatic aberration. I can see it. What happens if I crank the distance to like 10? Ooh! Ooh! Ooh me! Oh! Oh, that's funky looking. Socially distant fucking dropped a whole bunch of LSD. Oh. 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 That looks freaky. It's a little bit jarring. Ah. How does this look cool? It looks terrifying. Oh my god. You can still read things, though. Which is funny. Okay, so cranking it. Not quite a good idea. But what if I put it down to half a pixel? How does that look? Is it even noticeable? Okay, you can kind of see a little bit of color fringing here and there. Like, I can definitely see some red around there where my pointer is. Yeah, it definitely was trippy. I almost wonder if I implemented it wrong. To be fair, I don't really know what a chromatic aberration shader is supposed to look like. I know it is supposed to separate out the colors like that. 1.12. Let's try that. I don't know, it's really hard to tell. Oh, it's daytime in the background. That's handy. I wanted to hex something with background blur during the day. Okay, so I'll enable bloom again. I mean, it is supposed to be subtle. And it is subtle. Okay, awesome. Terminal is fully legible during the day. In-game. Previously, it was not. That also means so too, or so should these mission marker. Actually, that is suspiciously dark. I'll have to look into that. That's not supposed to be that dark. Yeah, that doesn't look right. There's something wrong with that. Something's wrong with background blurs. Just fucking turn it off and on again. Okay, there's something wrong with them. Alright, time to bring up the widget debugger and find out. Okay, I don't want the dock. Info panel. Here's my blurred overlay. Ooh, are you okay there, I am gooey? Would you like to talk about it? Oh, it's the terminal dragging in the background. Okay. It's a drag select. I'm like, why the fuck is the window glowing white? Okay, let's crank the brightness on the blur, see if that makes a difference. No? That is genuinely not making a difference. That is strange. It's solid black for no reason. Would any of you guys happen to know why the hell it's black? It should not be black. I'm concerned. I'm gonna restart the game and see if that fixes it. Come on, bring it back to daytime. Oh, why is it no longer daytime? Why did the game not save? Oh, it's because I'm in a mission. The game won't save during missions. Fuck, that's annoying. The only other thing I can think of... The only other thing I can think of that would make info panel turn black for no reason. I don't want info widget creation parameters. I want info view, or info panel view, or whatever the fuck I called it. I don't know. Info panel checklist view hold. No, I just want the info panel widget. I want the fucking... Alright, I'm gonna fucking use the widget inspector to find out what the hell the type name is. It's another use case for it. Alright. Not F12, it's F9. I have to get used to the keybinds. Okay, get rid of the status bar. Nope. Get rid of the dock. Get rid of the window manager. Alright, I want info panel. I don't need the clock. Info widget view. Possible I have introduced a bug into the game. Are you fucking kidding me? I specifically asked for info widget view. Oh, it's... I'm stupid. Okay. Alright. We're good. Okay, do we have any set custom property stuff going on in here? Not that I see. Okay, we have a blurred overlay. That's fine. And disable the darkening background. Nope, it is still solid black. Why? Okay, I can get rid of decoration set custom property. I'm really concerned. It should not be black. I don't know where it's getting the black from. Why are you black? What is wrong with the mission overlay? The problem is I don't even know a better way to debug this than what we already have. Wait. Wait a minute. Let's turn the resolution down. No, that didn't make an effect. Turn full screen off? I'm so confused. I'm actually confused. Okay, let's try turning bloom off. Oh, that overlay is still black. Alright. Let's try turning background blurs off. Now it's got no background. What the What the hell? That is so weird. Okay, chromatic aberration off. That's bug. Poor Wayland support halfway cut off. Okay, what happens if I close the terminal? And then turn background blurs back on. You're still black! You're still black! Why are you still black? I don't understand. I don't understand. I'm so fucking confused, guys. I don't fucking understand. There's something wrong, and I don't... What the fuck did I introduce into the game that broke info panel blurs? Oh shit, that inspector window is probably off screen. I think that's it right there. Okay, we can drag it back on. Wonder if there's a way to tell IMGUI to reset the window layout. Okay. Turn blur all the way off. Oh! Interesting. But the moment I turn it on, it goes black. But there is a faint overlay during the day. But that is so strange. Game development is super fun. Because every now and then you run into weird little bugs like this that are completely fucking unexplainable. Because, yeah, the moment the blur goes anything above 0, that goes solid black. Which is strange, because they'll not be doing that. Yeah, like, I can adjust the brightness. Which kinda, you know... As it goes towards 0, we get more black. So that works. Well, let me try something. Let me try something. I have an idea. Let me try something. maybe if I force all these properties to get set on every fucking pass, maybe it'll work? No, it's still black. Is it? What the fuck? I'm so fucking confused! What is wrong with my blur shader? Terminal's working fine, is it not? Actually, I haven't necessarily verified that terminal works fine. I haven't. It looks solid color to me. Yeah, that is definitely solid colored terminal. Did we really break background blurs in this stream? Alright, time to figure out what commit I broke it in. Add support for chromatic aberration. Fuck, I put 2 B's in it. I don't care. Alright, get short log -a master to here. Let's go back to before I added bloom. Okay. It's busted here, too. So it's busted before bloom. I wonder if it's been broken this whole time and I just didn't realize because nobody pointed it out to me. Okay. I had an issue the other night where my copy image subpaths wasn't working on a 4K texture. I have an idea. When I implemented post-processing, I had to skip the part where I do a hardware bullet of the screen in. I'm gonna do it with a draw call the old way. Okay, render.grab. I have to go even deeper. Why do I have to deal with these bugs? At least I don't have a headache anymore. It's gone. It went away. I'm just zen. A little frustrated by the bug, but I'm just zen. Alright, why is the build not... What happened? Did I not hit F5 hard enough? I did not hit F5 hard enough. I forgot. Whenever you want to compile something, you have to take a fucking sledgehammer and just smash the F5 key on it. Or with it. Okay, these blurs are still black. But weirdly, this one in particular, the system settings one, is fine. Am I getting the UVs wrong? Am I being OpenAL fucked right now? Am I fighting with OpenAL? I wonder if OpenAL expects UVs to be specified bottom up. Where the fuck do I define the blur region? Set blur geometry, okay. Okay, so there's two things that could be going wrong here. One thing that could be going wrong is top and bottom here are not getting calculated properly. That could be it. The other thing that could be wrong is obviously the UVs, but I don't think it's the UVs. The reason I don't think it's the UVs is because system settings is blurred properly. Problem is I don't know what coordinate space it should be in. Well, I know what the coordinate space is, but I don't know... It's... The fucking... Alright, I have an idea. Let's try first multiplying this by +2 instead of -2 to get rid of the inversion. Okay, we're still solid black. Alright. So it can't be that. Let's try using the top coordinate and the bottom coordinate in reverse. This is what happens when you make y... The fucking y-axis sit on the bottom of the screen instead of the top. Alright, return it to default, so let's fucking debug this hit. Alright, what are we currently rendering right now? Alright, what is... Wait, hit.render internal. What is this? Ah, fuck you, Ryder. This is... I think it might be a background blur overlay. Yep, it's a blurred overlay. Wait, no, it's terminal widget. Okay, we're rendering the terminal. Alright, cool. Cool. So that means that I would expect my y-coordinates to be near 0. Or near -1. My head hurts! I hate OpenAL coordinates. I fucking hate them. Is -1 that's the bottom? Or is +1 that's toward the bottom? I can't fucking remember! Alright, what is top? Debugger crash? Are you gonna... That took a while. Okay, negative 0.41. What is bottom? It's correct! That should be correct. Alright, I need a fucking web browser for this shit. I need to Google something real quick. I need to know. OpenGL device coordinate y bottom. Hi, learn OpenGL coordinate systems. OpenGL expects all the vertices that we want to become visible to be in normalized device coordinates. Well, yeah, it's -1, 0, or -1, 1. After each vertex header run. That is the X, Y, and Z dot... Thanks, Google. You're gonna make me click it. Alright, cool. This website looks about as old as me. It's fine. Yeah, negative 1.0 and 1.0. So I got that right. Just tell me what y needs to equal in order for it to equal the bottom of the screen. That's all I want to know. This isn't gonna tell me what I need to know without me actually needing to read it. I'm in the middle of a live stream. I don't feel like doing a fucking full article read through. I'm not that kind of person. You know what? Fuck it. Ask OpenAI. In OpenAI's normalized device coordinates, NDC, the Y value representing the bottom of the screen, or viewport, is -1. So that's correct. We're fine. Cool. So, this is not where the bug is. UVs. What are they? I know they're between 0 and 1. But like I said, I don't think it's the UVs that are the problem. So otherwise, settings would be upside down. This is so strange. I'm gonna have to start doing the other fucking way of debugging a shader problem. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna turn bloom off, chromatic aberration off, that's fine. Because what I'm about to do is we're gonna go into dual Kawasi. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna systematically disable parts of Vaxtrace shader until it works. Or I see red. So the first pixel shader that I want to see okay, I don't want blur up. I don't want blur down. Let's do prepare. Okay, we're just gonna return pix color. No, we're gonna return red first. I should be using render doc for this. Okay, so prepare shader. Solid red. It's not helping. Next in the chain of command here would be blur up. Okay. So blur up, returning red, does nothing helpful. Let's try blur down. We're gonna get it. I will not stop until this is fixed. Probably a bad idea, but... okay. So now we've got red. Now we've got red. That's weird. Okay. Why does blur down make things go red, but blur up doesn't? There's something wrong with blur up. There has to be. I have an idea. I'm gonna make this do blur method return a render target 2D. Return the destination. Okay, there should be a value I can use, or a attached property I can use to store the blur cache. Alright, let's not compute the fucking Gaussian curves anymore. We don't need to. Okay. Okay, so now we can store the texture inside the cached geometry, which we'll immediately need to get from here. And then when we create the mesh, instead of using blur target 1 directly, I'm going to do cache.blur texture. And if we get solid red, then I'm onto something. We do not get solid red. Fuck. Damn it. I'm at a loss, guys. The only other thing I can think of is blend states. If blend state is not opaque, that breaks things. All none. Okay, we're opaque. Yeah. This is so strange. Alright, I want to try something else real quick. Okay, so darkening overlays are disabled on both the terminal and the info panel. That should give me... Yes, they're both black. Why, though? Okay, so we got solid colors when doing that. I wonder, instead of giving it red, data.textchord.x, data.textchord.y on the green. That doesn't look right. That doesn't look right. The UVs might be calculated incorrectly. Just think about it. if we're in system settings, and, you know, you ignore the fact that there's the darkening overlay, in system settings, the top left corner of the window, right now, is black, which is UV00, or UV00. That makes sense. Top right, if horizontal increases toward red, then it stands to reason that the top right should be the most red, and it is. And if green increases as you go down, well, we should have green, or kind of a yellowish down here, which we do, because red plus green is yellow. But then as we go toward the left, we should have green down here, which we do. So system settings, the UVs are correct. And I'll admit this kind of UV debug gradient looks kind of cool in the background. Now, with the info panel, if the same mapping were used, well, this shouldn't be pretty much solid red. I can see that the UVs are increasing vertically, which is correct, because I can tell that it's getting more yellow as we go down. But this very top right corner, or top left, should be black. This should be red. This should be yellow. And this should be green. Same with the terminal. But the terminal is pretty much all green. That's strange. So what do the UVs look like? Because now I'm concerned. Set blur area. Okay, so what is area to blur? Area to blur is x45, y765. Wait, no. I'm all wrong. I'm all wrong. Okay, okay. Let me explain why I just realized I'm all wrong. Okay, so we're sampling from the screen. Alright? So the screen texture is gonna be the size of the screen. UV00 is gonna be the top left of the screen. UV01 is gonna be the bottom left of the screen. UV11 is gonna be the bottom right of the screen. So here, this corner. And then UV0, or UV10 is gonna be the top right. And in system settings, that's what it is. because system settings is blurring the entire screen. Okay. Info panel, the reason it is very red is because it is in the top right quadrant of the screen. So it's going to naturally be sampling near to the top right, and so it's going to be red. Terminal is near the bottom, so it's going to be more yellow and more green. I can prove this by how do I... Where's the fucking root of the desktop? There it is. I can prove this. I'm gonna set this flex panel to reverse. It's a very weird look for the game. But as you can see, the info panel is now very green. So, that's working. I'm even more stumped. UVs are fine. Positions are fine. What the fuck else could be going wrong? Oh, why am I having this problem? Okay, here's another thing I'm gonna try. Passes. I'm only gonna do one. Okay, we're still black. Alright, let's try not clearing the screen. I don't think that's gonna do anything, but... Thank fuck this game boots up so fast. I can make it boot even faster by skipping that intro. I just need to add a setting to let me do that. Okay. Other plan. Let's try setting the render target and then applying. Maybe that could be tripping it up. But that wouldn't explain system settings. Nope. Still not. I don't understand. What the hell am I supposed to do to fix this? I can't figure out what's broken about it. Alright, what happens if I skip blur up and just do blur down? Specifically blur down works. This is so fucking strange. What did I break about it? I wonder if I have to do blur up and then blur down. You know, that would make more sense to me. You go down and then you go up. We're still solid black. But how does system settings look? System settings looks broken. Oh, I hate debugging haters. This is so fucking frustrating. I don't know what's going wrong. I really don't. Yeah, I know, C-Sharp, you're not gonna fucking evaluate that to true ever. I get it, that's the point. Okay, so if I just ignore the actual blur, it's fine. Everything's fine. It grabs the fucking texture. Let me... I'm gonna set Why is multi-sample count set to 4? How about not? How about no? Okay, it's already rendered target usage to preserve content, so that's not it. Well, that should be an FPS boost. Multi-sample count of 0. As it should be. MSAA is only something you do when you're fucking actually rendering the screen. But I don't think that was it. So... what if... Now this might be very annoying if this is the case, but what if... What if... Okay, I already know I just introduced a bug. That's fine. All that bug is gonna cause is... for the, screen to not get cleared properly. I can handle that. Nope, still solid black. Fucking hell. How does system settings look? System settings is solid black. I fucked it up. I completely fucked it up. I don't get it. I literally don't get it. I don't understand. The only... I don't... I don't know what's... I don't know what the problem is. I'm stumped. I'm fully fucking stumped. I'm actually fucking... It's the only thing I can think of. Is that somehow I fucked up the properties. No. No, still black. Okay, at least system settings is working again. Wait. No, that doesn't look right. That does not look right. I don't know what's wrong about it, but it does not look right. That's so fucking strange. How did I break this? Yeah, because when I open settings... Oh, I don't understand. I really don't understand. Unless my copy image subpaths was working this whole time, and... You know, I wanted to do animations. Fuck it. I will next week. I just want this hit to work. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, 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 we're no longer black. Oh my god. Okay. What? System settings still looks wrong. I don't know why it looks wrong. But system settings still definitely looks wrong. Blurred overlay, let's set the default for darken background to false, and then that'll let me compare. Okay. I'm not quite sure why. But it is copying. It is specifically copying the bottom portion. What? What the f- I knew it looked wrong. Are you guys seeing this hit? It is copying the top left of the screen. I don't know why it's only copying the top left of the screen, but it is only copying the top left portion of the screen. This is so strange. Okay, well, let's make sure that we actually apply the properties. Why are you only copying this portion of the screen, you silly game? What happens if I go up to... What happens if I turn full screen on? What? Okay, we're black again. Am I getting... Okay, so this one isn't black. Terminal is black, and system settings is black. But now system settings isn't black. Oh, this is so strange! Alright, I need... Okay, the only thing I can think of with this is UVs are fucked. But I'm using direct copy, so that shouldn't matter. And we've established that UVs are not fucked. Alright, I need to abandon this mission. Can I abandon the mission without there being a massive glitch? Please? Oh, you're not gonna give me the option to abandon the mission? Really? Why the fuck not? Why am I not allowed to abandon the mission? I wrote this game. I should have given myself that ability. I should be able to abandon any mission I want, regardless of what the script says I'm allowed to do. Why don't I have that ability? Alright, that's gonna be something I implement in the future. Okay. Alright, we're gonna yeet the fucking info panel. I want to get to the bottom of why system settings is fucked. Collapsed. Okay, we have no blur panels on the screen right now. Alright, I'm fucking done. Alright, I'm exhausted. I need to figure this out on my own. I need to do a lot of cursed shit. I don't know what's going on with it. It's broken, it's fucked, it's busted. I don't know what happened. Dinner's are almost ready, so I'm gonna fuck, I can't speak. I'm gonna end things off. Tell you guys what, if I figure it out, we're gonna continue tomorrow. If I don't, we're gonna go back to Grand Theft Auto. But if I do, we're gonna work on animations. Anyway, I'm gonna end this off. So, as always, I've been Michael, even though everyone calls me Richie. If you enjoy what I do and want to support me, there's the Patreon link in the description below. Clearly, I need some fucking coffee to figure this one out. But there's the Discord, if you want to come hang out. And, yeah. Fuck! I don't understand this bug. Anyway. I suspect it's UV related. It has to be. But yeah. I'm gonna do some testing on my own after I eat. And for now... Wrong button. The game switched to daytime in the background when I hit that button. That was funny. Anyway, yeah. I'm getting things off. And we'll come back to this. So yeah. I will see you guys in the next stream, probably tomorrow. Stream ending in 3, 2, 1. What a fucking disaster.